Hello and welcome to Getting Fit in Memphis. My name is Yvette Smith, Memphis' leading personal trainer, and today we are going to do some stretching and we're going to use the roller. Remember, consult your physician before starting any exercise program. Now I'd like for you to join me. So if you're at home, let's pull out your yoga mat, let's grab your roller, and let's get started. Now for starters, let's just start off in a resting position just to get you comfortable. I want you to sit all the way back on the back of your legs, extend your arms out, your fingers are spread wide, relax your forehead to the ground, relax your arms, and let's just focus on our breathing. I want you to take a deep breath in, and then exhale out slow. Good, deep breath in, and exhale. One more, deep breath in, and exhale out slow. Good, I want you to gently and slowly just walk your hands back. I want you to grab your roller, just set your roller out. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit right on top of our roller. Come to the center of your roller, make sure it's even on both sides of your hips. I want you to sit right up on your sit bone, so you're right in the middle of your glutes. And you can take your fingertips right behind you, or you can bring them in front, whatever makes you feel comfortable, so you'll be balanced. And just make a slow, continuous roll, just back and forth. But you're just covering your glute muscles, so you're just going right underneath the glute and right to the top part of the glute. So don't tilt too much, just a small roll. 1, continuous. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Notice I try to make just an even roll, just loosen up that fascia in your glute. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way down a little bit. So now we're on the top part of the glute and right in the lower part of your back. And just a small roll, just covering a small section. You're just trying to loosen up your fascia, loosen up that muscle. 2, slow and control. 3, 4, and 5. Good, now let's work our lower back just a little more. So I'm coming back on my elbows and I'm just doing that small movement right in my lower back. So I'm not moving very much, just a small motion. We're just trying to loosen up the muscle in your back just a little bit at a time. So now I'm using my feet, I'm rolling down a little bit. Now I'm right almost in the middle of my back. And I'm using my arms to roll me back and forth. Notice it's a nice, even, controlled motion. And I'm pushing off my feet. Notice my glute, my rear is up off of the floor, so there's a space underneath there. So you have to use your legs and use your upper body strength to roll you back. Slow and controlled. And notice I'm talking at the same time, so make sure you're breathing. I'm rolling down just to my upper back. And then I lift up on my feet, lift your glutes up, and just roll back. Just a continuous roll. You can place your fingertips down for balance. Just roll back just a little bit. Slow and controlled, making it even. You're just loosening up your muscle in your back. And now we want to get the upper part of our back. So I'm going to bring it back just a little bit. Raise up. And I'm getting right underneath where my shoulder blade is and right underneath my traps. So just a slow, continuous roll. You can bring your arms down for support. Notice I have this whole part of my body lifted up. And I'm just moving back and forth. Slow control, just loosening up the muscle in your back. You should be able to feel that right in your back. Make sure you're breathing. Pushing off your feet, you're working your glutes. You're isolating your abdominals. Keep them contracted the whole time. And then stop. Now what I want you to do is lay on your side. We're going to work the side of our body. So you lay right where your shoulder blade is. And I have my arm on the side. So I'm loosening up the side of my arm at the same time. And it's a small movement. It's a very small movement. So I'm just doing that shoulder muscle. Just that little section. Just rolling continuous. Slow and controlled. Just loosen up the muscle right in your shoulder. And if you can't feel it, you can use your body weight to press down more, to feel it in the roller. If you're feeling it too much, you can kind of lift up, use your weight to kind of lift you up so you won't feel it as much. using the roller, and if you lift up and you still feel it, then you may want to get a different roller. They have rollers that come in different colors, and you can get a roller that's not quite so hard. So just roll continuously. Slow and control, so you won't flip out from underneath the roller. Good. Now I got the top part of my shoulder. Now what I want to do is I want to get underneath your arm right here. So I'm going to raise my arm, kind of like you're laying in the bed. My arm is right to the side. So I'm right in alignment, and I'm right underneath that shoulder and right underneath that trap muscle, and you just go slow and control. And usually it's a little bit sore underneath that muscle. So you got to use your body to work the roller. Just use your body to work that roller a little bit. And then stop. You can roll it down just a little bit further. I'm right on my side, so I'm still rolling out the side of my muscle. Just slow and control. Just a small movement. I'm basically using my elbow to push my body back and then use my elbow to come forward. Loosen up your muscle tissue right underneath the arm. Make sure you're breathing. Good. Now, we're going to roll down right to the side of our hip. We're doing everything on the side. So you're going to cross your leg over. Look at my foot is flat. And I'm on my side. And you can come down on your elbow if it's hard for you to hold yourself up. But just make sure you're directly on your side. They're right on that hip bone. So I'm using my legs to push off right on the side. Slow and control. Right underneath the glute. Right underneath that glute. Notice I'm pushing off with my foot and just doing a small motion. I'm just doing right on that little outside of my hip. Good. And then you stop from there. Roll it down just a little bit further. What I want to do is right from my hip, right to the side of my leg. So right on that outside, that tibial band, when you run and everything, sometimes you'll have to loosen up that side tibial band. So I'm going to lay on my side. Notice my foot is flat for stability. I'm right on my side, and I'm going to roll. Roll out right to my knee. See where my knee is? Right to my knee. And then I'm going to roll down. Right to the hip. Using my hands to push off, and then roll down. Rolling out that tibial band right on the side, and then roll down. Slow and control. Now if you feel a spot that feels a little sore, like I can feel one right there, you kind of stop in that spot for a few seconds, let it release, and then roll it out continuously. Just roll out that spot. But you're going to have to use your upper body to roll you back and forth. So it's going to take a little bit of upper body strength. Or if that's too difficult, you can come down to your elbows and try to walk yourself. I actually can feel it more when I'm down here walking myself up as far as the pressure on the side of your leg. So if you don't want to feel it as much, you may want to hold yourself up. But you're just rolling it back and forth. Slow and controlled. Kind of using my feet, using my arms. You're going to have to use your whole body to try to work you on this roller so that you can get loosened up from all angles. Now let's bring it down a little further. We're going to go from our knee right to our ankle. Let's see. Right to the ankle. Just a small movement, rolling it back and forth. And I'm kind of pushing off my foot, keeping it flat, and using my upper body strength. Good. Now, everything that we did, of course you're going to want to do it on the other side, but let me show you everything that we'll do from a flat position. So let's start at our ankles, right here, right where my ankle starts, and I'm going to go right to the back of my knee. Right to the ankle, right to the back of the knee, right to the ankle, right to the back of the knee. Slow, controlled. You can do it smoothly if you just lift your body up. If this is too hard, you're going to have to walk yourself inch at a time. Just kind of walk yourself back, or you can lift yourself up. So if you lift yourself up, then you're getting some tricep in there too at the same time. So you're getting some upper body strength along with loosening up your muscle. Now you can take this where your feet are right on top and you can loosen up the muscle right in your feet. So I'm going right from my toes and I'm going right to the bottom part of my foot. Just going back and forth. Now since I'm seated, I'm not using as much pressure, so I can't feel it quite as much. If you really want to feel it, you want to lift up on it and roll back and forth. Lift up your glutes, lift up the rest of your body, and just get up on it and roll. Now when you get up on it and roll like that, make sure you're careful because you can slip underneath it. It takes quite a bit of balance to hold yourself up. So keep that in mind. You may want to stick to the floor version where you're going right back and forth. So now we loosen up the muscle on our feet. We loosen up the muscle on the back of our calf. Let's roll it down. And let's loosen up our hamstrings. Right to the back of my knee. Right to where your hamstring starts, right underneath your glute. So take your arms wide and let's roll. Make sure you're breathing. Shh. Breathe as you're rolling it down. Breathe as you're rolling it down. Just loosen up the back of those hamstrings. Shh. And of course, working your triceps again. Our triceps are going to be burned out by the time we get finished. But you got to use your upper body to hold yourself up. To roll it back. Now we loosen up the back of the hamstrings. Remember earlier we already loosened up the glutes when we started. So we got the back of our hamstrings. Now let's get our spine. So what I want you to do is tilt your pelvis so you're engaging your abdominals. Walk your feet down. Notice I'm still tilting as I go down. And I'm rolling it down. So I'm rolling it back, right back to the top part of my back. And now, rolling it all the way back to the lower part of the tailbone. And I'm walking it back. And then I'm rolling it. And I'm walking on my feet. Notice I'm keeping my glutes up. So you got to engage your abdominals. And then walk it back. And then you got to make sure you're breathing at the same time. Roll it back. Walk it forward, all the way to the, right before your neck starts. So right to the top part of your back. Just roll it back. I'm rolling it back one vertebrae at a time. And walking it all the way back. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up our spine a little bit at a time. So start at your upper back and just relax down as much as you can at that point. Just hold it. So you'll feel this right in the upper part of your back. If your spine is stiff, kind of readjust yourself, but just relax it right there. This helps to loosen up your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Yeah, walk back just a little bit. Now I'm right there, still in the upper part, but I'm down just a little bit further. You feel that right in your spine. Walking it back a little bit more. Now this is where you're probably going to want to get a different kind of a roller. If it's too much for your spine, you might want a roller that's a little softer. Make it roll up. So we're going to put the roller here. Now we're going to do the front side. So when you come right on the roller, right where your knee, the top part of your knee is not on your knee, but right in the front part, right where your shin is. And you're going to roll it right to your ankle. And then right back. And notice again, I'm lifting my body weight up. I'm rolling it right to my ankle and right back. Slow and controlled, rolling out those shins. Now if you run, this is a good rolling exercise for you. Slow and controlled. Continuous movement. Now if you're at home doing this with me, I know you can feel it also in your abdominals at the same time. So you're working your abdominals at the same time. You're rolling back, and then you're rolling forward. Rolling back, and then you're rolling forward. Having to use your upper body at the same time. Extending it all the way out. I rolled out my shins. Now I'm going to roll out my quadriceps. So you're going to lay on the roller. Move it back just a little bit. We're going to lay on the roller. And I'm going to roll it up. And then roll it back. Right to that hip level. Roll up. You can walk forward if you like. And then roll it back. Rolling it all the way back to your hips. And then roll it forward. So you should feel that right in the front of your leg, right in your quadricep. And then roll it back. And this time I'm on my elbows, so you don't have to use so much upper body strength. So it means I must be wearing down. Move to the elbow. So roll it down and then roll it back. Just slow and control. I'm going to do it again. Roll it down. And then roll it back. You feel it right there in the front of your leg, right in your quadricep. If you feel a little spot that's sore, you can hold it there for a second. And then roll it out. Just walk it forward. And then stop. So move it forward just a little bit, right in the hip area. And it's a small movement. So I'm going to use the back of my toes to push me forward and back. And it's a small movement. So you're kind of loosening up the muscles in your stomach, also your lower stomach. And it's a small movement. Notice I'm just using my toes, pushing me forward and back. It's a small motion. So it's not a very big movement, but it's an effective movement. So remember, everything we do on one side, we'll do on the other side. So you always want to be balanced. Good. I want you to stop. We're going to bring the roller forward a little bit. We're going to loosen up our arms. And we used our arms quite a bit when we were rolling. So I'm going to roll right to my wrist. And roll right before I get to the elbow, basically. So I'm rolling out those forearms. And remember, how much you feel it is dependent upon how much pressure you put down on your arms. So you're just rolling it out, slow and controlled. And then notice I turn my palms down a little bit, so I kind of change the angle. I'm basically wanting to make sure I roll out all aspects of my forearms. I turn them up. I can do the back, slow and controlled. How much I feel is dependent upon how far I lean in or how much body weight I put in there. So I'm going all the way to my wrist. And then if I turn my hands downward, do the other side. As we work our forearms too, so you want to make sure you loosen those up. Good. Now I want to loosen up my bicep. It's easier for me to do one arm at a time than it is to try to do both of them. So I'm starting at my elbow. Notice I'm starting at my elbow. And I'm going right underneath that arm and coming back. And then I have my palm down here for support. But I'm also pushing off of that arm or pushing off of that hand so that I can get that muscle underneath. And when you're using the roller, you kind of want to go by feel, especially if you're sore. You can feel whether it's working in that particular area. And if it's not, just readjust your body, because all of our body shapes are different. So you might have to bring it up or bring it back or move your arm in a different direction to feel it. But as long as you're loosening up that muscle all the way underneath that arm. And if I turn my arm a different direction and roll it, I'm rolling it out from a different angle. I can feel it in a little bit, in a different spot than I did the first time. And then of course you want to do the other side. the other side. Slow and controlled. Feel that right underneath the arm. And then you can change angles if you want to feel it in a different direction. Now what I like, and of course you can use a different kind of a roller, or if you can feel it with this one, I have a roller that has some bumps on it that really help, but you can loosen up the muscles in your hand, which is good. You're just rolling it steady, slow control. Loosen up those muscles in your hand. Just make sure you're breathing. Notice I have my fingers spread wide, and I'm pressing down with my hands all the way to the top part of my fingers and all the way to my wrist. Just pressing all the way through. Stretching out, rolling out those hands. And of course you can do the back side. This is a good way to loosen up the muscle in all parts of your body, just using the roller. The roller is supposed to be a good simulation of a massage therapist. Of course, it can't replace a massage therapist, but this is definitely do a good job if you use it on a regular basis to help you to loosen up the muscles. Now what I do, once I do that with my hands, I also use it to stretch my hands. So spread your fingers wide, spread them wide on this side, and then just push into your hands. You feel that stretch right in your hands. If you use your hands a lot at work, this is a good stretch. Hands get tight, and just hold it there. And you can turn your hands back the other direction, have them flat, and then just kind of lean into it. You feel that right in the back of your hands and your wrists. Oops. And you can stretch out each individual finger using this roller. Since it's stiff, this is a good way to stretch out each finger. I'm just pressing against the roller with each individual finger. Rotate my hand around, pressing through, stretching out my thumb, and then I'm going to the other side, and the other finger, pressing through that middle finger. I'm stretching each individual finger out, each individual finger, and then going around to my thumb. Good way to stretch out your hand, which is a muscle group that we forget about when we're thinking about working out. Now if you like doing the roller, I have a roller class that you can join in with me on Saturdays at 7 a.m., which is a great roller class that you can do with me. I want you to take the roller right underneath your legs. We're going to lay all the way back on our back. We're going to roll it through our feet. Just straight through our feet. But notice I have my head and shoulders up, so I'm keeping my abs engaged. Keeping my abs engaged at the same time. Just rolling out those feet. And release. Good. Just walk your roller out. I want you to roll down. Just roll down one vertebrae at a time. You can walk your legs out. I'm just going to relax my legs right on the roller and let them drop out to the side. One palm is facing the ceiling. I'm going to have the other palm facing the ceiling. My fingers are spread wide. Now what I want you to do is just close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale. Do it again, deep breath in through your nose. Roll to the side, one hand on your side. I want you to bring it up. Put your legs position. Sit to the center. Make sure you're sitting all the way upright. Your hands are right on your knees. Now, if you're interested in personal training, you can call me at 901-366-2866, or you can visit my website at yvettesmith.com. And don't forget to check out my book on Amazon.com called The Journey of a Personal Trainer. Thank you so much for watching.